Hello and happy hump day all. We are back. It is Woo Woo Wednesday with the
No,
master. Oh no, what is it, Salty?
come on. How many times do we have to do this? What is it? It's wild, weird, wonderful, wacky werewolf woo woo Wednesday. Sorry, Purple Valkyrie. I had to mansplain that to you again.
Something patriarchy. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. Internalized white supremacy, misogyny, trans, vaccine hesitancy, climate change. That's what it was. That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't want you to misspeak. All right, I'm gonna shut up now.
This is true. This is true. And Salty does that so much better than I do. But it is Woo Woo Wednesday. We are back and it is so good to see everybody. We've got Jacob Ironside. We've got Leia Rose. Hello, lovely. We've got Daniel. Great to see you. We've got the drunk poet Dempsey. Hello there. We've got Mr. Batsu. Good evening. Hey there. We have returning. We've got the Clisanu. Hey there. Good to see you as always. Hope you guys are good. And we have got Varez. Good evening. Hey there. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week so far. Salty, how's your week going?
I'm not a big fan of 2023. I'm gonna be honest about that. I'm not saying 2022 was a banner year, but I'm saying not really digging. Maybe it's just I don't know. It sounds like a weird made up year, like 2023. That sounds weird. And every time I turn around, I've been trying to evade a certain couple. They're not friends of mine. I don't think they're friends of a lot of ours, but I can't seem to shake them at Purple Valkyrie. I'm going to share this with you, and you have no idea. I said I warned you what I was going to show you, but I want to show you what it is that I keep scratching my head and going, why? Okay. Why do I have to keep seeing this couple?
Oh no! Oh God!
So apparently that ginger guy comes from a pretty well-off family there in the UK, and everybody wanted to say he's in an interracial relationship with a woman who apparently was a bad actress or something. But all of this, I don't care. I really don't care. But the problem is that redheaded guy apparently has like little dick syndrome, or he's like the younger brother of somebody who's probably, maybe more talented or I don't know, saner than he is. But every time I turn around, this guy's saying something about his family. Now I got problems in my family too, but you know what I'm not doing? I'm not going on Oprah. I'm not going on Jimmy. I'm a cocksucker Fallon. I'm not going on any of those shows. I keep my shit to myself. But this guy, apparently he has to write a book and shit all over his dead grandmother too. It's nuts. Purple Valkyrie, what the hell is this about? I don't mean to turn the woo-woo show into celebrity gossip, but this is getting weird. Here's the problem. This couple has been pushed by the transnational media for years. For years, they have been trying to sell these people as some type of climate changey, trans active, whatever the hell it is. They're the spokesmodels of the New World Order, and we don't give a shit about them. Am I wrong, Chad? Purple. Do people feel differently about this couple in the UK?
No, not at all. We're sick of them as well, and quite honestly, we're kind of hoping that you guys keep them. That did make me laugh looking at that picture, because that's he's lost a lot of hair since then. That's a very flattering picture.
Well, if you were married to that crazy gold digging, in my opinion, narcissist, he's lucky he's only losing hair, not like his balls. Although, to be honest, how big can they be with the way he's been acting? Am I wrong, Chad?
Firmly in her purse at this stage. What is it that we're looking at? Is this teabag, Salty? Is that what they're trying to offload on us?
They are both soggy teabags to me. See, there's somebody. I have a channel chat on Twitter where people who are subscribed come on in and people post things. And there's this one individual I thought was my friend. Her name is Magitech Mags, and she keeps posting this crap everywhere I go. So I want to royal shame her on this live stream. So yeah, Mags, stop tagging me and things related to whatever this guy is, Prince Harry, and then what the hell is her name?
Meghan. Yes.
Yeah. Want to be Princess Semi-Beige? Can we say that? I mean, Purple, I think you're more diverse than she is, but what do I know? I know.
So agree, you said put on your clown noses, the circus is about to begin. Yes, you are not wrong. I think 2023 is gonna be it's gonna be an interesting one, and not for the best reasons. Let me say hey to Dave Bob, and let me say thank you to Salty for that. I did not know he was going to pull that up.
Well, we're going to have an interesting show today. We're going to cover some things that are YouTube considers extraordinarily problematic, but I want to shout out hello to Creepy Little Book, also to Pod Racing Palpatine, R_Rez, which I'm guessing is Rez. We have Chernoculus P, and of course, hail to Jacob Dempsey. Everybody who's out there. Daniel, it's great to see you guys. Thanks for showing up and supporting us as ever.
Yes, so, and hey to Stuart Mitchell. We've got our favorite vampire, and let me say hello to Abomination AJ. You guys are amazing,
dude. AJ, and you and I keep doing this thing. Hit me on Twitter. I want to talk to you about The Last of Us just for a second. I also want to say hello to Angry Canadian and oh boy, Hefista. If I said it wrong, say it phonetically and call me a pejorative name. Hail to you guys as well. So.
We have got a great crowd, so let me kick this off. And we like talking dinosaurs here on the Woo Woo Show, don't we, Salty?
Hell yeah! What do you got?
Let me bring this in. So this is from our good friends, the bastion of journalistic integrity, the Daily Mail. So it says, was the king of the dinosaurs a genius? We'll see. The T-Rex apparently has the same number of brain neurons as modern primates and may be capable of problem solving.
So what you're telling me is that dinosaurs were smarter than Jennifer Lawrence. Is that what you're trying? Is that what this article is really saying?
I think there's sea cucumbers that are smarter than Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay, fair. I'll stop interrupting.
There's stuff hiding under rocks that has a higher IQ. Bless her.
True.
Play to your strengths, sweetheart. Play to your strengths.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to make a joke about knee pads, but I totally didn't. I would never do that. I would never talk about Jennifer Lawrence and her career in knee. I would never do that.
So let's see what they've got to say about the T-Rex. Today's birds are known to be ancestors of the dinosaurs millions of years ago. Funny how they're all saying that was the case, because I remember a few years back when they completely said that dinosaurs did not evolve into birds. It wasn't the case at all.
Science is settled, unless it just is randomly settled in the middle of the night, and then things are memory hold. Just like, that stuff everybody had to get, but now people are suddenly dropping dead from. Especially kids, but we can't talk about that. Sorry, let's talk about dinosaurs.
So it goes on to say, when you think about the T-Rex, you may be imagining a roaring beast crashing through the trees or tearing at its prey. However, a more realistic image may involve the theropod dinosaur carefully crafting a fork at which to pick at a carcass or peacefully interacting with its friends. As much as I would love to see a T-Rex holding a knife and fork in those tiny little arms, I think that would be hilarious.
Are you telling me that dinosaurs are building birdhouses and playing with Legos? Okay. You're going to tell me that something that reprograms my DNA so that to produce a spike protein that I need to get 18 shots of it. But this, I mean, come on. Like, I have to draw the line somewhere as far as what believability is. I just want to say that.
So it says that is because new research from the Vanderbilt University in the US has revealed that T-Rex may have had the same number of brain neurons as modern primates.
I was hoping you'd say Jennifer Lawrence. I want to shout some people out. We got a Polynese minion in the house. We've got in here, and it looks like Daniel's throwing around money like it's growing on trees. Also, you have a new member. I don't know if you can see that or not. Purple Valkyrie. It is the one, the only Drunkporial, Godporial, Nerdporial. Hail to you, Brian. Great to see everybody.
Guys. Let me grab these and thank you, Salty. So Daniel, hello and good evening. He says T-Rex versus chimp in chess. Winner eats the loser. That's a pay-per-view I would like to see.
I'll give 100 to 1 odds that either a T-Rex or a chimp could beat Jennifer Lawrence's chess. I'm just saying, even though she's the one who invented the game, my money's on T-Rex, even though he doesn't have problems he's got. He can't pick up pieces.
Just knock the pieces over. And let me say a huge thank you to Nerdporial. Great to see you. Now you guys are absolutely crushing it at the moment, talking about Wheel of Time.
Is that what you call it? You mean getting our souls crushed by Rafe Judkins? Yes, we are. Yes, crushed. We are. But Nerdporial is also reading Robert Jordan's famous 14-book series, The Wheel of Time. So we're also talking about the second book, The Great Hunt, which is a joy. But I think we have one more episode left. And if you haven't checked it out, Brian was playing some old school Mario Brothers yesterday with Steve's son, Easton. And I was there to, be the bouncer around the chat. So go check out that stream. It's a good chill stream. So, yes, he's a power mad tyrant.
So good to see you guys. Thank you. Let's see about this T-Rex playing chess. So if this is the case, and I severely doubt it, it would have been able to solve problems, create tools to use, and even engage in cultural behavior.
Well, I think it was either Dempsey or Nosferatu who said, I want to see a T-Rex with a ray gun. Didn't they do an anime or something like that about that? And I think it was Dempsey said he wants to see a dinosaur with boxing gloves. Okay, the problem with that is T-Rexes have tiny little arms, and if you put like boxing gloves on, I mean, they're going to hit themselves in the face more than it would hit somebody else. Just saying.
But it would be
I'm no biologist. I'm no biologist, but I do know what a man and a woman are. But hey,
And Pod Racing Palpatine said dinosaurs invented the wheel. Fact. It's probably that what you just said is probably more factual than what the Mail are saying, but we will see. So they've got a rather complicated graph that they've put up. So it supposedly is talking about how many polygons it's primates, and then humans are up the top, obviously, because we're supposedly smart, but it's brain mass versus neurons.
I really hope there's no internalized misogyny or white supremacy in this math. I hope that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. I hope that a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee was responsible for this output, because then it won't be about the science, it will be about feelings.
Yes, and just looking at this looks very official and looks very impressive, but once you stare at it for a couple of seconds, you realize that it's kind of nonsense, because it goes by body mass as well, not just the size of the brain.
So what about Lizzo? Do we have a compare? How many Lizzos with her prions and her synopsis compared to a T-Rex? How many Lizzos would that be? Yeah, I agree. Hail to you, Ancient One. And Sarah Green, hail to you. She says, could we not see T-Rex kickboxing? Brutal match there. I know, it would be.
See, all of these you guys are throwing out are far more interesting than what they've come up with.
And would probably be a lot more engaging than the $100 million that HBO just blew on another non-adaptation of a video game that I actually love quite a bit called The Last of Us. There's going to be a pretty big video dropping on that just to pimp myself. I'm going to be working with Hollywood Scholar and some other people that you may know from the gaming world to talk about this from a couple different perspectives, from gameplay, but then also from story perspective. But I would much rather have kickboxing T-Rexes with ray guns building birdhouses and playing chess with Jennifer Lawrence than I would HBO's The Last of Us, because it's going to be the Wheel of Time of video game adaptations and will set the standard of everything coming out afterwards. So, yeah.
Yes, video games are most certainly on the chopping block next. So Jacob Ironside said, how about a T-Rex riding a unicycle? I like where you're going with that. But let's finish this up. So dinosaurs ruled the earth for some 179 million years ago before suddenly being wiped out in the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction events around 66 million years ago.
Probably a CME or another major asteroidal impact. Now, let's not forget, there was a major asteroidal impact at the Yucatan Peninsula that pretty much excoriated the entire surface of the Earth, except for very small mammals. But sorry, I had to jump in because it was asteroid related.
Yes, we do love asteroids. But says prior to that, certain species evolved features like feathers, wings, claws, and enlarged skulls. You can see where they're going with this. This was a gradual process, as evolution is, and spanning tens of millions of years. It's thought that the small body size of some of these bird-like species helped them dodge extinction and allowed them to evolve into more modern birds. Now, how you go from a T-Rex, which was about 40 feet long and 25 feet high, to a sparrow. We'll see. As of the soft tissue of dinosaurs is fairly preserved, there's not much known about the brains. However, as they are known to be related to birds, information about them could be drawn from the brains of today's emus and ostriches. And if anybody knows emus and ostriches, they're exactly
mean.
Intelligent birds.
They're mean and stupid, just like Meghan Markle and Bill Gates. They just have a lot of money. Yeah, you're going to tell me Bill Gates created that operating system? Sure. Anyway, I can't talk about that. Can't say that name. We've had some great comments in chat, including the fact that the original PS1 game for Jurassic Park had T-Rexes that did kickboxing, and you guys are just lighting this thing up. I can't even keep track with it. But yeah, Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington, I love that name, says Jennifer Lawrence came to Earth on an asteroid. Only Harvey Weinstein's knows for sure. I wonder how many starlets are on his phone. I wonder if he backed up those onto the cloud. I'm gonna stop talking.
I'd like to think so. And Daniel says, where does the dodo come into this IQ chart?
We talked about this. Jennifer Lawrence, right there. That's right. Dodo in parentheses J-Law. Sorry, Purple, go ahead.
And D-Bud Martin, great to see you, says that was an insult to emu, Salty. I'm going to have to concur with D-Bud because they did once win a war against Australia.
Okay, but I don't want to insult the entire continent of Australia. But yeah, I have eaten emu. I haven't eaten T-Rex. So are we saying that emu tastes like T-Rex? That's what I want to know. I don't care about brain capacity. I want to know how T-Rex, did it taste like chicken?
Yes. Can you eat it? It's usually the best question to ask.
Therefore, by deduction, does that mean that chickens taste like dinosaurs? Does that mean it should be Kentucky Fried Dinosaur or dinosaur nuggets? Is that what we should be calling stuff?
Well, looking at this fella, he kind of looks like a big chicken. I mean, they've got him with the feathers, and I don't know what he's eating, but he seems to be enjoying it. I'm going to skip a lot of this because they go into a lot of details about the size of bird brains. But here we go for the example. So T-Rex, and then it goes down, 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 down. So
wait, is that one pregnant? Oh no, those are feathers. Okay,
those are feathers.
It looked like it looked like a dinosaur with a very gaudy handbag. But okay, yes. They got feathers. Okay.
It does kind of look like it's got a handbag, doesn't it? Yeah, but to go from the T-Rex down to a bird, I think it's a bit of a stretch. I can't picture the T-Rex being anything more than a creature that is did what it was meant to do, which was to be a top predator, even though there is a school of thought that it wasn't actually a predator, it was more of a scavenger and took the meals from smaller hunting dinosaurs. But let's see what she did do. So they studied the group of the bipedal dinosaurs that included the T-Rex. Using CT scans, she deduced that the dinosaurs would have had a similar brain mass to birds of the same size that can be tracked back to pre-asteroid times. It's given me the mental picture of a chicken the size of a T-Rex now, which would actually be terrifying if anybody had chickens.
I've raised chickens. I had a flock of layers. I had 20 of them, and then I also raised meat birds. They are absolute scavenging cannibals. Like if you get a chicken who gets a wound, chickens can see red. So if another chicken is wounded and there's blood, all the other chickens will peck at it because they want to get the blood. So are chickens vampires? Are they vampire dinosaurs? I don't know. I'm just saying this is the evidence we have in front of us. But that's why when you have a chicken who's wounded, you have to there's a ultraviolet sort of a purple dressing or antibiotic you put on it because chickens can't see purple. No, purple, you'd be invisible to them. Purple, but if it's red, and I'm going somewhere with this, I swear to God, they will attack it. But chickens will eat everything. I watched a small chicken try and choke down a huge barn mouse and run around with its tail hanging out because it couldn't get it down its own throat. And the other chickens are chasing this other chicken, and they're running like this, trying to rip the mouse tail out of the chicken's mouth. So when I look at chickens, I think about dinosaurs like this, and look at raptors. And I believe it was Sarah Green who said Kentucky Fried Raptor. Now there's extremely fast food, and you guys are lighting it up in the chat. This is why I love doing this show. Nosferatu says he's a vampire dinosaur. Now get off my lawn. Okay, fair.
And Dave Bob is not incorrect. Terror birds were a thing, scary as hell. Absolutely. And Daniel poses an interesting question. He says, does it make more sense to farm 1 T-Rex or 1,000 chickens?
I'd flip a coin. Honestly, I'd flip a coin. I don't know if I'd want to walk out into a pasture full of 1,000 chickens. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I'm not afraid of a lot of things, but chickens, when you come in, until you've brought out like leftovers for chickens, like I have, like if you really want to watch chickens lose their mind, bring them out watermelon, because they see that red and they all come running.
Wow.
But 1,000 chickens, and I'm 6'5", and I exercise my Second Amendment, but it's a numbers game. And if there's 1,000 chickens and only one salty, I think the chickens will win. Just saying that.
It's salty will take a few of them out, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll a couple hundred at least, you know what I mean? And I'll go out swinging, but my God, 1,000, this is literally like being swarmed by the undead, undead vampire dinosaur chickens. Yeah.
And Clistenu agrees. It says chickens are weird. You can hypnotize them by drawing a line in the sand right in front of their beak, and they freeze. I've heard that as well. And apparently if you put their head under their wing, they fall asleep as well. And Jay the Deep Minded, great to see you, says, hi all. Arrived just in time to hear Salty talking vampire dinosaur chickens. Seems like a standard Wednesday.
It makes more sense than what we heard from Anthony Fauci for 2 years, doesn't it, though? Doesn't it? And I do want to say to you, Jay the Deep Minded, I hope you're doing well. I understand you're a little under the weather and getting some care right now. And everybody just tell good old Jay, we hope whatever procedure you're having or whatever is going on, that it's going well. So I just wanted to call that out. So
feel better soon. So just to sum up about these T-Rex dinosaurs, some of her findings suggest that the T-Rex would have had a brain mass of 343 grams.
I don't know what that is. Is that like a shot? Is that like a hamburger?
It's about that. Yeah. So this translates to 3. Oh God. Oh, I hate it when they give.
Take a drink. Take a drink. It's 11 o'clock. I'll carry the show. Pour about 4 fingers of vodka. Pound
it's not far off the size of a baboon. So a baboon's intelligence, I don't know. I've never known baboons to actually problem solve.
Smarter than Jennifer Lawrence. Okay. Again,
it's a sliding scale.
Yeah. In says, do chickens really run around when their heads are cut off? Yes, I didn't do that. I dispatched them a little more humanely. My grandmother didn't when I was a little kid, and they used to think it was funny when I would run crying and screaming because there's a blood spurting chicken running around the yard a little bit. But good times. Childhood in the 70s taught you to be resilient. It did. Sorry, Purple, go ahead.
It built character, damn it. So basically, I don't think that this is much of a story. I mean, if you said it was something like a chimpanzee, for example, which are known to use tools, to have complex societies, then maybe. But baboons, they're kind of down the scale when it comes to...
The other thing is they can have the intelligence of baboons, but baboons are able to use that intelligence with a prehensile tail, and they have hands to manipulate. They can use tools. T-Rexes have tiny little arms. What the hell is he going to do? Stand there and do this? I mean, he's going to have to bend over to pick things up. His arms are not big enough to saw. How could he make anything? This is insanity to me.
So
Chat, am I wrong? I mean, I wonder how much federal grant money went into this. And I think the important part to this story is, were there transgender dinosaurs? And was there a male patriarchy keeping the female the Caucasian female dinosaurs of the species down? Because that's what all this bullshit is.
Funny really, you should mention that. She actually talks about elephant-sized. So it says, She also said that they would have probably lived between 42 and 49 years, even though the oldest known specimen is said to have been 28 years old. But she also said any elephant-sized but agile biped carnivore endowed with macaque or baboon-like cognition must have been extremely competent predator. Now, it may have been a competent predator, but it doesn't mean it was a tool user. So we'll see. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Can you guys picture T-Rex being a genius and having complex social dynamics? Because I certainly can't.
No, I expect T-Rex to be exactly like what I thought. They're a predator. They're a reptile. They're probably driven by an extraordinarily good sense of smell. They probably have the ability to strategize some fighting, especially when going up against larger predators or herbivores that could stomp their ass. But other than that, I mean, this is literally just jerking off. This is academic jerking off. You know what I want to know about the T-Rex is I want to know what was the extinction event and what was the world population and where were they? I want to know those types of things. And I'd also like some science, some actual science that talks about how radically the climate was in flux for hundreds of millions of years before any of us or cows farting or people with trucks were ever here. That's what I'd like to have, not bullshit like this, but I'm getting fired up and a little emotional and I probably should stop.
That's all the chat's right there with you. Sarah Green says, but can it make me a sandwich? I would like to think so. And
Can Jennifer Lawrence make a sandwich? Well, or is that patriarchy?
What kind of, no, in fact, don't go there with what kind of sandwich, because...
Oh, a Jennifer Lawrence sandwich. God, I want to make a joke, but I'm not doing it on your channel. Sorry, bro. Oh, God. I'll be the meat in the middle. How about that? I had to do it. I'm a child. All right, here we go. I'm a teenage boy. All right. I'll do my job now.
It says, yeah. I can see T-Rex having more intellect than most writers at Netflix. True story.
Well, whatever show we'd get wouldn't be full of trans representation and driven by ESG scores, which at this point, I will take dinosaurs writing. I will take monkeys flinging poo at a screen because it's better than what we're getting in screen. This I thought was really cool. This is from the James Webb, the new telescope that they put out. This is a picture of Jupiter. And I thought this was stunning. You know, this looks kind of like a trippy disco ball from the 70s, but look at this, look at the color and the resolution. You know, I just wanted to have some things to kind of break it up a little bit, but I just think this is beautiful. You know, we live in a universe, in a galaxy and we live on a planet that is so beautiful, so many things to see and to do. And we're having our experience of this time in this reality fundamentally destroyed by people who know exactly what they're doing. And this is where I wax a little philosophical, is we have been under a tremendous amount of psychological warfare for almost 3 years now. And I think it's getting to a lot of people. It gets to me. But you know what? Look at this. Look what we got here. Go outside, hang out, look at a lake, go feed the ducks. Don't feed the homeless. They just keep coming back, but feed the ducks. Feed the ducks. You know, go outside, you know, pet a dog, stop doom scrolling, but don't stop watching Purple Valkyrie or Salty Travel and Seas channels. But just wanted to say this. Look at this. This will be here. This was here before we were here. This will be here while we're here. And this will be here long after we're gone. But we're part of the story of the beauty of this entire reality. And no matter what they're trying to do, these globalists, and destroying and controlling everything, they can't take away our appreciation and joy of this.
Well said. So, yeah, I think a lot of people kind of don't, I know it's cliche to say touch grass or reconnect with nature as much as we probably should, and it is so important for us as a species. And asks, are they all real photos or are they enhanced? Do we know?
Van for me while I read.
Yeah, of course. Let me say a huge thank you and hello to Psychodorf9. Great to see you. As always, he sends us a $5 super chat. Thank you. And said the 10,000 years of human recorded history have been extremely stable, according to the geologic record.
Yes, they have. And don't forget, we came out of the Little Ice Age about the time of the Renaissance. and crop failure was rampant, and it was recorded by Irish monks, by people in Asia, all over the globe, South America, that the planet was in a cooling period, and then it went into a warming period. Now, we've been in that warming period for quite a while. When I was a kid in the 70s, they kept saying the climate is going to change because the planet is on a cycle. It's on a cycle. And we're entering into a cooling phase again. But you can't really scare people by saying, you know what, it's going to be a couple degrees colder. So what do they have to do? They have to spray shit in the air. They have to do all this other stuff and then pay trillions and trillions of dollars to the mainstream media over almost 20 years now. Remember Al Gore? Remember all the predictions there? It's the same song and dance. It has nothing to do with the weather. It has everything to do with controlling you because there's too many people on a planet, according to them.
Absolutely. You know? And talking of controlling, Sarah Green has a slight off-topic question. She says, Salty, have we ever found an alternative to PayPal so I can support you in purple again?
I haven't looked, but I can do that. I'm actually, it's a little too much backroom stuff, but we will look into it. I still don't use PayPal for anything. And there are other, read your terms of service for a lot of these things. I'm just going to say that because there are a lot of people still releasing that you could be fined for your speech or have your account taken for speech. YouTube did something to us here where they said if you were using profanity or language they didn't like, which wasn't detailed, that they would retroactively demonetize your content. And yeah, things are a little weird. Things are a little scared, but thank you for that, Sarah Green. And to answer, I think, his question, I don't believe it was colorized. I think that was just, it probably had like a density filter on it, but I don't want to misspeak. But yeah, that telescope takes pictures in 4 or 8K resolution. So
yes, Pod Racing Palpatine said, I think they said it was 8K, although I have nothing that powerful to view it on, but it is an incredible picture. So thank you for that, Salty.
Hail to Zax.
We got
Hail to Zax.
Good to see you.
Yeah. NASA did admit that, and we covered it, I think, on the Woo Woo Show last week or the week before, how the magnetosphere had a hole in it and was letting all kinds of solar rays in and other rays from the cosmos that have a terrible effect on us. I mean, we can get cancer from that. But did you all notice there were a lot of earthquakes in California and in Texas about that time? Yeah. Must just be a coincidence. You know? So...
And Psychodorf says, Salty Purple, Younger Dryas, Little Ice Age, 1800 and froze to death. Yes.
Yeah. No, the Younger Dryas looking at 18. No, wait a minute. I have to do this. 11,800 years ago. And there was another impact before that, or some type of event which caused some type of climate or global temperature spike. And that was at 12,600 years ago. Again, these are in the ice cores. This is not someone pulling shit, stuff out of their ass like the Gates Foundation and Anthony Fauci and Pfizer and all those other war criminals. All right, I'm going to cover this article, and this comes to us from the Daily Mail. This says, I'm a werewolf. Japanese man spends 18,000 pounds on an ultra-realistic animal costume to fulfill his dream of living as a wild predator. Now, this Japanese man said he wanted to look like a hyper-realistic wolf walking on its hind legs. All right, a picture. All right, no, that's some shitty online thing. So this is the head. This is the actual way the guy looks. This is the head. 18,000. But wait, there's more. He walks around Japan looking like that.
I'm no animal expert, but I don't believe that wolves walk on their hind legs. Do we have a explanation of why he wanted to do this other than that he could?
Yes.
This isn't anything,
Japanese.
sexual.
It's Japan.
Please.
It's Japan.
Okay.
It's Japan. They're into tentacles over there. Okay. Like they have vending machines with used panties in them for businessmen to buy. Am I shocked that this dude's walking around and yeah, I know that's racial. It's not a race. Well, is it? It's a joke. It's just a joke. You know what I mean? And we're going to make fun of other people. So hail the brightest day. This is a guy who he's been talking to me behind the scenes. I'm going to have him do some work for me because he's got a 3D printer and I just want to call you out. You are a really good dude, my friend.
Great to
and
see
very
you.
very first person I live streamed with was Brightest Day back in the day with OBG 70. So hail to you, dude. It's great to see you. So this is what this guy spent 18,000 pounds on to walk around scaring tourists in Japan. That's literally an unaltered photo. My question to you is this guy a furry? Is this something that's unique to Japan? Am I being culturally insensitive? Or do you think that this is wacko? Purple Valkyrie, you cosplay. Is this over the line? Or is this just somebody with, is this a fetish? What the hell is this?
As far as I know, it's generally anybody who dresses up as animals, as you say, furries. It's a fetish type thing. Now, whether or not it doesn't seem to be, because all the ones that I've seen tend to be kind of cartoony looking suits. This is ultra realistic, and as Kasanu said, it's a beautiful costume. Though it is, it's very well made. He's got his money's worth, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to walk around in a costume, and Nosferatu may have actually figured it out. He said, that's grey in that costume.
I didn't want to say it, and damn it, now you doxed him. Yes, that is Ray from Wakazashi's tea house. His wife is now going to kill him because he said he lost all the money. He was robbed. No, he actually is wearing this hyper-realistic costume. No, he's not. I'm teasing. But look at this. This is okay, I'm going to say this. Look at the effects of this. These are better effects than we got in the Wheel of Time. Better effects than we got in the Lord of the Rings. This are practical effects. This is all we want in our fantasy. This guy in Japan, whoever he bought this from, we should find that name out and refer them to all the idiots at Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all these other shows, because maybe we'd get something that would at least look like it was not just CGI schlock. So yeah, the mystery client was overjoyed with the final outcome of his order. This is a specialized order. He said, my order to look like a real wolf walking on hind legs was difficult to say the least, but the complete suit looked exactly like what I wanted. Now, last year, another Japanese man had similar aspirations of becoming another four-legged animal. Now, he wanted to be a dog, and he spent almost 13,000 pounds on that costume. Yeah. So
it's Lassie.
This is the guy. This guy spent 13,000 pounds to look like this is a guy in this costume. This is in Japan again. This is his furry costume. He's on all fours in that costume.
Wow. I mean, that one I didn't.
That's him.
See.
Yeah. That's
definitely more sus.
So it took 40 days to make this Kali costume. Now, apparently, Toko posted himself in photos and has a video on YouTube. I will put the link to that because I am not gonna play that shit. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, oh my god! This is okay. So the video. Do we want to watch the? No, we don't. I'll put the link in chat. It looks like a Kali. It looks like a Kali with hip dysplasia or that had a brain injury the way it moves. So I will drop that into chat. But this is just, guys, would you ever spend that much money on stuff like this? And I've dropped the link in chat because this just makes no sense to me.
Oh my god, the chat is on fire. Said I wish I had enough money for a wolf costume. I'd get a car with it. Gary Banjo sandwich and Worthington says only hounds.
Yeah, this is the video you're going to see on YouTube. Look at him.
Why?
It looks like a robot. Why would you wear this? I mean, I can see the wolf one. I mean, you could bring chicks home and be like, hey, baby, I'm quite the wolf. And then you come in like that. But here's the thing. You got to have You got to have ejection ports. You know what I mean? You got to have Velcro would be problematic. Let's just say that. But you have to have something to have an aperture to open to allow things to escape the
Things to
costume if you
happen,
wanted
yes.
to do stuff, right? I'm not, I mean, I maybe I've said too much. Anyway, I thought
just
this was
hope,
funny.
it is funny. I just hope that the first one, and I hope he's happy, and I hope it's just an innocent. He wanted to look like a wolf, and more power to him. But I can't.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
2023 needs to slow the hell down. It's too much.
Yeah. I tell you what, the wolf one I actually kind of like, but that collie one,
yeah,
it's I don't know. It looks like a dog with hip dysplasia. You know what I mean? So
let me say thank you again to Psychodorf9. He says, heck, for $3,000, I can get you on an elk hunt with lots of thrills. Just saying.
And you get elk meat at the end, and elk meat is delicious. Elk meat is delicious.
Thank you, Psychodorf. Let me say hey to SRB. What did I just walk into? That is the internal question. Great to see you, and hello to Keely Chow as well, and Chris Wood. Good to see you guys. So, don't ever let anybody say that we don't bring up interesting topics here on the Woo Woo Show, because we certainly do.
Yeah, I don't know what's weirder, talking about Harry and Meghan, or Japanese dudes in crazy $20,000 wolf costumes, or yeah. Go ahead. What's your next article, Purple?
I am gonna, since we're talking creatures, I am gonna jump to this one. So
this is cool.
This is kind of cool. So, you guys have probably heard of these in the past. So, this is Lurking Beneath, Beasts and Monsters of Sewers and Undergrounds. Now, where the article starts off, most of us have heard of strange creatures said to inhabit various cave systems around the world. They're usually called the homeless. And many of the underground network stations are famously haunted.
Okay, I didn't know about this. Now, you guys have, didn't London have the very first underground or subway system built in the Western world?
I believe so, yes. And London Underground, if anyone's been on it, is a vast network, and it's actually smaller than it used to be. There is a lot of it that's been closed off, bricked up, has fallen into disrepair over the years, but it was also used during World War II to shelter people. It was used as bomb shelters because it was so far underground, and you get a lot of people in there. Yep. It was really good for the population to kind of get them out of harm's way.
Hail to Ms. Martin Muses. Teresa, it's fantastic to see you. Keely Chow, Row Tide. It's wonderful to have you all here.
Great to see you guys. Chris Wood says, spoiler alert, they're rats. Well, some of them probably are, and some of them are probably enormous rats. But let's see. However, many of the tunnels of the sewer systems around the world are said to be homes to not only ghosts or otherworldly creatures, but monstrous beasts. So, quite often, these strange and blood-curdling creatures share details and characteristics with each other. For example, many have glowing eyes and are around 10 feet tall. Now, that's a lot to fit into a sewer. If anyone has ever been down into a sewer system, they're not exactly spacious.
The metro in DC had some pretty big stations. It was actually pretty trippy, but the tunnels themselves were fairly standard size. When I was in Boston, again, there's another old underground system running around there. New York, of course, has theirs. You lost me at 10 feet, but I'm gonna let you get to the end of this article. I'm just gonna say that because this is trippy.
It gets weirder. So often covered with shaggy hair. Indeed, many of these creatures appear identical to Bigfoot, and they may be. So we've got urban Bigfoot. They're saying
no. And we've got Sarah Green, who says, back in 2008, I visited London. The underground was actually terrifying and claustrophobic. I agree. And Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington says, underground creatures like listening to the Jam. I have the Jam behind me. You can drop those alt-rock 80s, 90s small esoteric little groups, and I probably know them. And if I don't, our man Brian up in Canada, that 70s rock fan, probably has it, though. So,
yes, bringing the knowledge. And hail to Ancient One, says hashtag 30 like hype. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing. So let's see. This is quite a long article, so I will skip some of it, but they do have some kind of cool pictures and probably some that you've already seen. So, home to very real and unusual animals. Perhaps it's worth briefly examining some of the very real animals that have been discovered. For example, most of us will know that any sewer system will contain rats, as they said before, and perhaps a stray pet or two. There are
Like an
also-
alligator, like
an
lost pet
alligator.
alligators, lost pet
Exactly.
Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as the salty cracker said, many frogs, snakes, and lizards, and other bigger things can happily survive in tunnel networks and sewers. Many smaller creatures, such as ferrets, ducks, and raccoons, can also be found. Cats and dogs will take shelter in there as well and are often rescued from them. Even foxes have been known to use sewer systems and navigate to avoid being run over on roads, presumably, which is kind of smart because foxes are like that. Jumping back to the alligators, there are dozens and dozens of stories, and I've seen them all over the internet.
Oh, yeah.
People seeing and saying they've come across alligators living in the sewer systems of large.
Don't flush them down the toilet, please. Don't flush your alligator down. I don't know how you would, but don't flush alligators down the toilet. Just gonna say.
Yes. So it says, although that New York is one of the more prevalent for this being reported, they should stress that there have been no claimed deaths of alligators attacking people in New York sewers. But again, if you're attacked by an alligator, you're probably not going to live to tell the tale. So we'll see. So we've also got the Merseyside sewer monster. Although the issue was thought to be an April Fool's gag, which briefly had many investigators in the strange and unusual looking at it, the case of the Merseyside sewer monster is also perhaps worthy of our time, not least due to the point behind the hoax. So you've probably seen this. This video.
I'll tell you what, Prophet of the Dragon has better Halloween decorations in his front yard than this. I'm gonna say that. I'd be more afraid of the pirate that Steve Prophet of the Dragon. What the hell is this? I mean, like, I don't know what this is. Did you say Merseyside? So this is UK, right?
Yes, this is this is Liverpool. So the alleged creature was first spotted by security staff at United Utilities Water Company on their CCTV. The creature stood upright and was far too big to be a rat. What's more, it was theorized that whatever it was likely sustaining itself from the fat deposits, sometimes called fatbergs. It's a real thing. It's a huge problem in major cities, especially in London. Look up fatbergs. You'll probably regret it. Don't do it before you have anything to eat, but it's a real thing.
I don't want to. That's why I don't watch Lizzo either. So
yeah, this is the still from the video, and you've probably seen it on the YouTube. This thing kind of peeks out, looks at the camera, and then darts back behind the wall. So what was this thing? However, it was soon come to light that the creature had been organised by the company themselves as part of the What Not to Flush campaign. So don't flush Gollum down the toilet is what they're telling you.
It looked like Gollum. What I was, honestly, what this looked like was like some rough animation for the original 1977 The Hobbit by Rankin Bass. That's what I was thinking with this. You know? Or it looked like a bad guy out of Wizards. Have you guys ever watched that animated cartoon, that trippy one from the 70s? That's what it looked like.
This thing confused a lot of people, and a lot of people thought it was real for a long time because it's a grainy image. It was taken quite a few years ago now, and people, back then hoaxes weren't as popular. Do you want to see if I can play it? I'm probably going to get struck for it, but I can play a couple of seconds of it. All right, so let's see.
Well, they were striking you for your own theme music, which is not
they were.
Right. You guys don't know about all the stuff YouTube's been. All right. I like this found footage thing, crawling around in the sewer. What could go wrong?
It was really effective. Yeah. So this is obviously one of their little cameras. They're pushing it along the sewer, and here's our little friend popping out to look at the camera.
Wow, this is why the Second Amendment is so important. I'm just gonna say that.
If this
Americans, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So here's the question: you're down in the sewers, and for some reason you're walking around with a camera, right, looking for spooky stuff. If you actually do see something, are you gonna take that camera and run toward the thing that should not be there, which is 10 feet tall with the glowing eyes, or Or are you
Or
going to go, holy shit, I'm going to boogie out of here and I'm going to have drinks and thank God that I didn't encounter that close up? What would you do in chat? Now, let's say you're alone. Let's say all you have is well, like, they don't even allow you guys to have pocket knives in the UK. What are you
nope.
going to do? Use strong language to scare off the glowing-eyed sewer monster? I mean, here in the United States, it's just like blam, 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 blam. You know what I mean? And then figure it out. Whatever it is. But I mean, that's the question. Would you keep going and chase this damn thing, or would you get the hell out of there? It's a rhetorical question.
I would have noped out of there as soon as that thing stuck its head around the corner. Yeah, if
Poop
it were
monster.
real, of course. Yes.
Poop monster. This is, I want to say this to you, Jacob, on your side. We are not reviewing Amazon's Wheel of Time done by the poop monster known as Rafe Judkins. We're actually talking about woo woo, but yeah, that I can see why you get confused looking at the image on the screen and what we know about Wheel of Time.
And Pod Racing Palpatine says, do not Google Fatbergs. Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't want to know now. I don't want to know. All I know is they're meeting in Davos right now, and there's a lot of shit monsters and poop monsters that, Anyway, we can't talk about that. That will get your ass disappeared. But please continue. That was intriguing, Purple Valkyrie.
That was funny, and that's just an example of what they can make. One of the moving on to cryptids, so it says perhaps one of the most intriguing and strange encounters comes from Toronto, Canada. In 1978, a bizarre humanoid creature was witnessed by a 51-year-old local man named Ernest. According to the witness report, Ernest had been searching the streets for a missing kitten when he came upon an entrance to an old tunnel. Thinking the kitten might have made its way inside the tunnel, Ernest turned his flashlight on and proceeded to go inside, as you do. After he had walked about 10 feet, however, he was suddenly confronted by a strange grey monkey-like creature with large, sharp teeth and eyes that almost appeared to glow an orange colour. Even more unnerving, the creature could speak, spitting out the words, "Go away! Go away!" at Ernest.
Canadians in the chat. I also want to shout out hail to TZ Burton. We got TB, formerly Hardlight, has joined us. It's great to see you. Those of you who are in Canada, is this something that you guys have heard about? Because this is the very first time that I've ever heard about this. Now, I used to spend a fair amount of time in Toronto. I don't even, can I go into Canada now? I think I can go into Canada now. It's not for legal reasons. It's because I don't want to have my DNA altered. Yeah, I don't remember hearing about this story at all. So, and hail to Nighthawk, by the way, just joined us.
Hey, you're welcome. Great to see you. And Dave Bob, you're absolutely correct. Never go into a tunnel alone. Because you actually might be onto something. So that could have been Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't know. I think she was born in the 80s. I was thinking about Zax, who was in here, and Brian, that 70s rock fan. Now, could it have been him? I thought he was on the other side of the country over in BC, but I could be wrong. We'll have to ask Brian. Do you know about this? Okay, Zax.
Toronto's not really Canada.
Okay, but Quebec isn't either. So does Canada really exist, dude? Because Quebec sure as hell is in Canadian. And then Toronto, yeah, Toronto's really weird. But so what's real in Canada? I can see BC, or is it all just props up there? You know?
You think it's all just a front, like a fake veneer that
it's just money laundering for Justin Trudeau and the World Economic Fund. I do know that there were a bunch of Chinese feet washing up on the shore of BC. Look that one up a couple of years ago. I'm going to stop talking. Purple, let's talk about sewer stuff because I'm spurging out over here.
Let's see what Ernest would describe. So he said the creature was a living nightmare, claimed that after it had spoken to him and ran deeper into the darkness, lucky it turned and ran instead of attacking. As it did so, Ernest also turned and ran the other direction, shaking with fear.
Question. I have questions. Is this where Ernest Scared Stupid came from? Is it really ripped off from Canada? Remember that Ernest, whole Ernest movies? Anybody out there in the 90s? Right. No. Okay. Now look at this. We got the Canadians talking. Daniel said, well, first of all, he said, did it turn into a clown and then a giant spider? I don't know. Zach says always wear protection in Toronto's tunnel.
Good advice.
Especially the tunnel that's used to deliver fudge. Then we also have Nighthawk saying Alberta is okay. Soul Assassin, Hail to you, says, Canadia is another cryptid that many think exists that has yet to be proven. I was there. I drove across a hell of a lot. There was this big bunch of land between like Washington and Alaska. It took me like 5 days to drive across because I was taking my time. And yeah, and there was anyway, that's a whole other story. The Mammoth Museum up in the Yukon, absolutely fantastic. It's in Whitehorse. Check that out.
That is awesome. And hail to Zachar 315, great to see you. So let's see what else we've got. So several months after, Ernest was then convinced by a friend to speak to the Toronto Sun. If they're anything like the British Sun, that was probably a misstep, even returning with reporters to the entrance of the strange tunnel. While they didn't see the creature again, imagine, they did find the mangled remains of a dead cat that appeared to have been buried in the ground. Hopefully not the kitten that he was looking for.
Okay, we have to look up this. We have to look up more of this. And if you're in Canada, hit it, and you're on social media in the cesspool known as Twitter, and you know of any regional lore like this, I've been wanting to do a Canadian-based paranormal show for a while. Zach's is got a lot going on during the day. I want to have him on, but some other people too. But I want to talk about, because it's a vast land area which may or may not exist above. It's America's hat. But the UFO sightings, the Bigfoot stuff, the other cryptid stuff, some of the weird stuff that occurs over in the Gulf of San Juan de Fuca, in the Salish Sea, a lot of UFO sightings. That's where I saw my UFO, which I have photographic evidence of. And I would love to just talk about some of those encounters. Now, I've never heard anything about an urban population center like Toronto having anything like this. It's crazy.
Yes, and if you guys are familiar with it, apparently it became known as the Cabbagetown Tunnel Monster and remains well known today. Ernest himself was said to be a credible witness. He didn't do it for the money, apparently, and it's it's open to investigation. Does this thing exist, or was it all just a hoax by one dude who, I don't know why he did it, if he did decide to make it up?
I really want to make a terrible joke about I'm not going to do it because it just, YouTube would take it the wrong way because the AI doesn't understand. But what do you got here?
So this one is the Beast of the Cascade Tunnel. So another disturbing encounter, very similar to the one above, is relayed in real monsters, gruesome critters, and beasts from the dark side.
Yeah, man. The Cascades are no joke. No joke driving through those in the wintertime. I avoid them in October through April, generally, sometimes May. But there's a lot of crazy stuff up there. There's a lot of indigenous tribes out here. In the Pacific Northwest, a lot of the tribal lands end with ish. You've got Squamish and Salish, and then you've got all these other things, but they call this Skykomish, Washington, and the abandoned Cascade Railway Tunnel. There are a lot of crazy minerals and rocks that are out here. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that in the Pacific Northwest. The continent of North America ended at a beach, essentially in Wyoming, and it was like that for hundreds of millions of years, and a big bunch of new landmass joined onto it, as well as the crust of the earth popping up to form the Tetons. But along with that, a bunch of non-native materials were brought onto the continent of what was North America before it was North America. Now, the Cascade Mountains are a formation of that, but there's a lot of crazy stuff that you'll find there, including gold, silver, platinum, other strange things. Out here on the Olympic Peninsula, that was yet another tiny island that was in the middle of the Pacific that then got jammed on to that other formation that was North America. And in this ridge right on the northern part of Washington State where the Olympic Peninsula is, it has an entirely different chemical and rock composition than the other parts of the Pacific Northwest. So it's kind of crazy. So would it surprise me that there's weird paranormal energy? No, just going to say that.
And I was going to ask you, because I know Washington is a huge, as Salty said, hotbed for very just weird stuff in general, but this I hadn't heard of, and a couple of these I am actually going to research more and do a little bit more kind of investigation on them, because I think they're kind of fascinating. But according to this witness, only known as Dave, heard reports of a huge, hairy beast with glowing yellow eyes that so made his way there to investigate for himself and take photographs of the old rail tunnel. However, no sooner had he walked around 40 feet did he see bright yellow eyes described by others in front of him. They belonged to a beast-like creature that stood up and was just short of 10 feet tall. He would further state that no normal animal's eyes looked the way this creature's did.
That's
Dave
weird.
decided to quickly nope out of there. He got into his truck and left. He was in motion immediately, but not before hearing a loud metallic bang coming from the entrance of the tunnel. He returned to the site several days later, this time with several more people. Much to their amazement, they witnessed the creature again with the glowing yellow eyes.
I'm sorry. I have to yell at Steve, Prophet of the Dragon. He's the reason my phone is going off. So I'm going to go off camera. Yeah, we're actually friends. This is weird. And you know what I think? I think there's more likelihood if it's an abandoned tunnel like this, a rail tunnel, that it's a bear or some other type of a hibernating animal or something else that's in there. It could be bats. I don't think Bigfoot would be in this, but I have been wrong before about a lot of things. What do you think this is, chat? Purple, what do you think this thing is?
I think it's probably most likely to be a bear, as you say. I mean, bears do stand on their hind legs. No, I think it's black bear that you guys have. I'm not sure if there are grizzly bear that up there as well, but that would account for the size of them. And he's probably overestimated the creature if he is seeing it. It is interesting that several more people saw this, but none of them had cameras or anything on them that could capture a picture of what they were seeing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This one's kind of this one's a maybe, but more likely not.
It's a reach.
Yeah.
It's a reach.
It says even here the creature may merely have been a bear that was mistaken for something more otherworldly in the dark confines of the tunnel, or it might be Bigfoot making its way there.
I agree. Pod Racing Palpatine says Dave's totally a fake name. I agree.
yeah, Dave in quotations.
Yeah. I think it's the same Ernest from Toronto who then became Dave in Washington. That's what I'm gonna say. So,
but I'll put that in the live chat, that link, if you guys want to look at what we were talking about. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. But there's a lot more that we can go into it. And
we should cover more of them. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Just quickly, I've just had a picture sent to me from Jacob Ironside, so let me bring that up. So thank you to that. So this is what he said was the creature in the tunnel. If anybody recognizes that, you get points.
Is that from Weird Science and the shit monster Chet gets turned into?
Close. Yes. It's from Dogma. It's the poop monster.
Oh, I try and block that movie. Kevin Smith made 2 good movies and that's it. And that's not one of them in my opinion. And yes, I know everybody loves Dogma. I hate it. I thought it was trash,
but thank you for that, Jacob, and great to see Captain James T. Skywalker. Hey there. Yep, that's definitely Dave.
Yeah, that's it. Or is that Dave's wife? Let's not misgender him. So this YouTube does not want us to talk about. I'm going to cover this briefly, but I know I've been wondering when the pharmaceutical industry was going to create a synthetic mRNA vaccine that hasn't been adequately tested to then inoculate the pollinators of all of our food. And I'm sure that those bees which pollinate our food are not going to in any way put this synthetic mRNA vaccine that they've received into our food supply. That would never happen. I'm just that's totally sure there's nothing nefarious behind anything a globalist ever does. Let's get through this because this pisses me off more than anything. The USDA approves the first vaccine for honeybees. This article is from 4 days ago. Now, even they're saying it. This is the article quote. I'm not saying that introducing a genetically modified vaccine into the human population through the use of the pollinizing process of agriculture via honeybees was a plot line for the X-Files movie, except it actually was. You remember that? The X-Files movie, the first one that came out?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's
yes.
the same damn thing. Okay? So from the New York Times, a biotech company in Georgia received a conditional approval for this vaccine for honeybees, a move that scientists say could help pave the way for controlling a range of viruses and pests
Pictured
that have
above, not a
decimated
scientist. Yes.
the global population. Now, who do you think the pests are? Who do you think there's too many of, according to people that are pictured on the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
this
this
seems to be a lifelong project of our friend
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah, good old Bill. Yeah, go look at this TED Talks conversation on population. The company is called Dallin Animal Health. It's based in Athens, Georgia. It's a prophylactic vaccine that protects honeybees from American foul brood, an aggressive form of bacterium that can spread from hive to hive. Yeah, this isn't the way. The vaccine is incorporated into royal jelly, a sugar that is fed to the queen bees. I have to be extraordinarily careful with the analogy that I want to make. It's like giving an untested genetic modifying injection to a young mother or a mother, and that gets passed on to the young. I'm not going to look at infant mortality rates. I encourage you to do your own research. 2 weeks to slow the spread has turned into sudden death syndrome. We didn't have that. It's not really a thing. So, yeah, this is an article that's out there. Yep. Don't forget that Gates is the largest private owner of farmland in America now. He has been quietly amassing some 270,000 acres of prime farmland across dozens of states. And this is according to last year's Federal Land Report 100. This is the annual survey of the nation's landowners. Something else to know about that is in a tiny town in southwestern Wyoming, Mr. Gates has received very quick approval for his own small nuclear reactor.
Because that's what everybody needs, isn't it? Yeah. Do you ever get the feeling that he's turning into,
Yes.
well, not turning into, but has become a supervillain?
I don't even feel that. That's, yeah. I can't say what I want to say. Just gonna say crimes against humanity. So, hey, we were just talking about you, Brian. Dude, you missed all the Canadian weird stuff. Well, you kind of are Canadian weird stuff, Brian. Let's be honest about it.
Let me say hey to that 70s rock fan. Good to see you. Says, hi, folks. Off topic, but deeply shocked and saddened by the death of Jeff Beck. Yes,
We saw that. Yeah, we saw that.
That is a shame. So,
yeah.
rest
A
in
lot
peace to
of a lot of what made the 20th century truly spectacular. We're starting to lose, and it's a shame. But yeah. I look forward to Brian, you talking about that 70s rock fan. I look forward to your retrospective because I know it's going to be an absolutely fantastic one. So
agreed. And just going back to talking about the honeybees, wasn't your honeybee population decimated when they introduced killer bees as well?
Yes, and also the bee population was declining. They could never tell us why. Now it's my supposition that it had to do with Monsanto. That had to do with genetically modified things, which I still hold to. Now I can't prove that because I'm not funded by the Gates Foundation that'll publish whatever horseshit suits their narrative. So I don't know. You know what I mean? But I do know this: the amount of pesticides that are spread and the amount of industrial heavy metal based fertilizers used in mass corporate farming can't be good for anybody, but what do I know? I'm not a master organic gardener, but my God, I know how to organic and homestead and permaculture and do all the things that are pretty soon going to make me an enemy of the state. Because here in the United States Department of Agriculture now wants you to register your garden. If you have a home garden, they want to know about it because it's going to have an impact on climate. Because apparently growing fucking vegetables is destroying the fucking planet. Has nothing to do with transnational corporations. Has nothing to do with China opening up how many hundreds of thousands of coal-burning unfiltered plants. It has to do with me growing beets and having chickens.
Remember 50 years ago, everybody had little gardens and allotments, especially here in the UK. And actually, one of the things that I want to learn this year, other than how to make soaps and candles, is how to look after bees. I would like to have an apiary where I can keep them.
I'm going to say this is NM says, I think Salty is the most cynical person on the whole planet, or the whole internet, and that's a lot of people. You know, I can understand why you might say that, but I'm going to put it like this. How do I say this? I'm not. I am one of the most red-pilled people you're ever going to meet. I'm not black-pilled. My faith is not in any of these institutions which are now captured and owned by the elites. Take a look at the United States government. Tell me what's going on there. Take a look at 2 weeks to slow the spread. Take a look at sudden adult and child death syndrome. Take a look at all those things and tell me what I'm saying is wrong, because it's not. It's just once you understand who your enemy is, you stop fighting with people who don't look like you or who have different sexuality than you or whatever it is that the media keeps telling us to try and divide us, while the people who are really the problem are the ones pushing that message to steal everything that made our country great. And now here we are. But I have to stop talking because people are going to, say that I'm a right winger, and I'm not. I'm an American that was born in the 20th century, and that's the country I want to live in, not this. I'm not interested in being a global citizen, living in poverty on bugs with death panels to say whether or not I can go to the doctor, like Canada.
Let me say hey to Brandon. Good to see you. And he has become a member. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. He says, damn right, Salty. Absolutely. And we will never tell you what to think or how to feel. We're just trying to put out there and let you guys make up your own minds. Sometimes we talk about very serious topics. Sometimes we talk about ridiculous topics. But we will always try to bring the truth and then let you decide if it's what you think is right. Smile a while for me. Hello, honey. She says, stopping by to say hello before my call comes in. Miss being here live, but I'll make it to a live again sometime. I hope so. Hope you are doing well, and Happy New Year. Absolutely. Yeah. Daniel says raising bees is a sign of being a dissident.
That's true. I had those. Actually, I built there's these little tube things for mud bees and other pollinators, and it's one thing, I did have some bees, but primarily my pollinators were yellow jackets and wasps and other things like that. Part of when you try to create a homestead in permaculture, it's not just putting seeds in the ground. You need to have flowers that attract the pollinators, and there are certain non-GMO seeds that create flowers because who doesn't like flowers? Birds and bees like flowers. So they come in and they're hanging out and they're like doing this and that. And there's a flower called bee bonnet, which I used to grow. And then they would come in and pollinate everything because that's how it works, But
agreed. Yeah. And we're not disagreeing with you. Honestly, we like the back and forth. This is what we want. We want you guys to tell us what you think. Absolutely. Brandon says, born in the 20th century, we'll have to be the ones to fix it all. Hopefully we can while we're still young enough to do it. Absolutely.
That's a whole other show. But Brandon, you're onto something there. The thing is they pushed us out of the way. Gen X has been pushed out of the way because we kind of knew everything was bullshit. So Purple, this has been a hell of a good show. We just went to almost an hour and 15 minutes. Thanks for having me on this week.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that went by really quick, and we've got more to cover next week. That's the one thing that I love about doing these woo-woo shows is we can never run out of topics. And if there's anything that you guys want us to cover, just let us know in the comments. Send us a DM. We will cover it because we love getting to hear what you guys think as well. But Salty, I know you've been working hard on videos recently. What have you got coming up?
I mentioned it earlier in the show, but Hollywood Scholar and I and some other people that you will know from video games and video games reviews are going to be doing a little synopsis of what to expect from The Last of Us. And I said this for the Rings of Power, whatever I thought was going to happen, how they could screw it up. I was wrong because my brain didn't work in the way of these people who it's not really about the show or the characters. It's about the message. That appears to be the case, especially with Neil Druckmann. Well, no, good old Neil from Naughty Dog running this shit show. That is the HBO's Last of Us series. 10 episodes, starts this Sunday. I would love to be proven wrong about this. I have been attacked more in my comments section, and that's fine. I'm a big boy. I haven't been attacked this much since I started talking about Wheel of Time. So I'm on to something. That obviously is a little too close to home now. Hollywood Scholar Jed has been doing his own research. He is a criminally underwatched channel. Check out the Hollywood Scholar. His investigative reporting and digging into what's going on with The Last of Us, especially if you're not just a fan of The Last of Us. It's a great game that was released in 2019. Excellent game that Neil Druckmann then released a DLC expansion pack for, which then turned the character of Ellie gay. It's not part of the original story. It started with Neil Druckmann releasing an expansion pack, and that of course led to The Last of Us Part 2 and Abby Smash. So this show, we're going to cover some of that and how they are focusing on everything possible involving skin color, sexuality, politics, and not the actual gameplay and not the actual story of Joel and Ellie crossing the country. But we're going to be doing that. I'm not sure we're going to record that or we're going to go live on the thing, but I'm going to be doing that. I'll probably be dropping another video tomorrow. Also doing a watch of the final episode of Amazon's Wheel of Time, non-adaptation with Nerd Poriel, Prophet of the Dragon, and Manam and Nethrin at some point. So, Purple, I love doing these shows. As usual, I have like 20 more articles I want to get to, but we'll save them for next time. So, Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Thank you as always, and a huge thank you to you guys in the chat. You guys were on fire today. I couldn't even keep up with the comments.
I couldn't either. And Sarah Green, this is something that I've been racking my brain up, is there's a lot to be, it's not even being pessimistic, it's just calling things out so that what we don't end up doing is getting angry over things that we should just know are coming. Like this is how it's going to be. People talk about how we're winning. How? We're not winning yet. All right. They're losing money, but they're not stopping. I'm just going to say that. Sarah Green talks about old entertainment and ways that you can entertain yourself. If you have not seen Donovan's Reef, it's a fantastic, great movie starring John Wayne and I believe Lee Marvin, if I remember correctly. Is it Lee Marvin or is it the other guy? Anyway, starring John Wayne. It's an outstanding movie. Also, I'm going to say this. There's a movie called Father Goose. Has Cary Grant a little farther in his career. It is an outstandingly entertaining, wonderful story. It's really good. If you just want to watch a good movie, check those things out. But yeah, nobody here's a rage farmer. I'm not rage farming. I'm just tired of being lied to, and I'm also tired of being manipulated by these entertainment companies who, spoiler alert, they're just going to call us all the names before the show comes out because the show is just about those things. It's not about a story. So, hail.
Absolutely. And big thank you to the mods putting the links out. Please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to Salty. He mentioned The Last of Us, and we will be doing a live watch on my channel. I'm going to get a few friends together. Anybody who wants to suffer through with us, similar to what Salty did with the not Amazon.
Credit. Yeah. Let's give credit to Steve, Prophet of the Dragon. All of these watches were Steve's idea, and of course Nerd Poil participating on his Discord. I am merely a passenger. I want to give credit to content creators who have ideas, because I know what it's like to have other people rip your stuff off on a regular basis and not credit you. So yeah, not bitter, just saying that's how the YouTube works.
So that will be coming up. I believe it drops on Sunday, so look out for that. And I might try and do a chill stream on Friday because I haven't done one for a little while. But a huge thank you, as always, to Salty, and a huge thank you to all of you guys. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for joining us. We will see you for more woo-woo next week. And please check out all the channels that we mentioned today. People do really hard work. So guys, have a great one, and we will see you soon.
segment.